Have you ever wondered what led to the First World War? Picture a time when Europe was a tangled web of alliances, militarism, imperialism, and nationalism. It was the end of the 19th century and the dawn of the 20th, a time of great change and tension. At the center of this tension was the delicate balance of power among Europe's major players. This balance was shattered when a single bullet ended the life of Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria-Hungary in Sarajevo in 1914. His assassination was like a spark in a tinderbox, igniting a fire that quickly spread across the continent. In the aftermath of the assassination, political alliances were invoked, threats were made, and ultimatums were issued. Each action and reaction pushed Europe closer to the brink of war. This single event set off a chain reaction that plunged the world into a devastating conflict. So, who were the main actors in this global drama? The First World War was a dance of alliances. On one side, we had the Allies, a band led by France, Russia, and the United Kingdom. Their counterparts were the Central Powers, a troupe consisting mainly of Germany, Austria-Hungary, and the Ottoman Empire. Yet, this was not a dance for two. As the rhythm of conflict quickened, new partners spun onto the floor, including the United States, who made their entrance in 1917. The war was defined by its brutal and grueling trench warfare. Imagine being a soldier on the Western Front, trapped in a muddy trench, with the constant threat of enemy fire overhead. This was the reality for millions of men during the Great War. Major battles such as the Battle of the Somme and the Battle of Verdun were fought in these conditions, resulting in staggering loss of life. But the Western Front was not the only theater of war. Over on the Eastern Front, German and Austro-Hungarian forces clashed with Russian troops in a series of relentless offensives and counteroffensives. This was a war unlike any other, a war where soldiers lived, fought, and often died in the mud and blood of the trenches. And what was it all for? A few feet of ground, a tiny shift in a border? The war was a deadly game of inches, with soldiers fighting for little territorial gain. The First World War was a time of significant technological advancements. This period saw the birth of modern warfare, as new weapons and strategies were developed and deployed on a scale never seen before. Machine guns, which could fire hundreds of rounds per minute, made the traditional tactics of warfare obsolete. Artillery, too, evolved, with guns capable of firing shells over great distances, wreaking havoc on enemy lines. Tanks, a completely new invention, began to make their appearance, changing the dynamics of ground combat. They could traverse the difficult terrain of no man's land, providing a shield for advancing troops, and breaking through enemy defenses. And then, there was poison gas, a terrifying weapon that could silently kill or maim, sowing fear and chaos. These innovations, while showcasing human ingenuity, also amplified the destructive power of war. They transformed warfare from battles of maneuver to battles of attrition, where victory was measured in the sheer numbers of the enemy killed or wounded. These innovations transformed warfare and increased the horrifying toll of the war. The First World War reshaped the world in profound ways. The aftermath of the conflict was a time of seismic change, with consequences that reverberated throughout the 20th century and beyond. At the heart of this transformation was the Treaty of Versailles, signed in 1919. This peace accord sought to hold Germany accountable for the war, imposing hefty reparations that would cripple the nation's economy for years to come. The treaty also redrew the map of Europe, shifting borders and sparking political upheaval. The war's conclusion also signaled the end of several major empires. The Austro-Hungarian, Ottoman, Russian, and German empires all collapsed in the wake of the conflict, their once vast territories divided and parceled out to new nation-states. These newly formed countries, born out of the ashes of war, faced enormous challenges. They had to build new governments, forge new identities, and navigate the tricky waters of international diplomacy. Yet amidst these struggles, they also represented hope. Hope for self-determination, for sovereignty, and for a future free from the shadow of empire. But the war's legacy was not just political. It was deeply personal too. For the millions who fought and those who stayed behind, the war left scars that would never fully heal. It was a reminder of the human cost of conflict, of the preciousness of peace, and of the collective responsibility we all share to prevent such devastation from happening again. This monumental conflict left an indelible mark on the world, setting the stage for the tumultuous events of the 20th century.